I want to share with you the results of the Stinktober challenge. A bit of my process, my first impressions, and what I found most challenging. The first day was supposed to be very easy. The prompt was Bad Skull. How bad was my skull? I'd say not too bad. The next prompt was Shadow Creeper. I drew a huge monster in the mountains, with black holes instead of eyes. I struggled with the hand posture, so I added trees in the foreground. That solved the problem and added depth to the composition. Grim Reaper was very fun to make. I thought maybe it has feelings too, so I drew it crying hard at the end of its working day. Then came Alien. The obvious association for me was UFOs and crop circles. I illustrated one alien like a child who just wanted to play 5 more minutes, while the rest of the team searched for it from their spaceship. Solia suggested adding a kangaroo-like pouch for the alien to store some corn. That detail completed the story and made me super happy. For Dr. Octopus, I didn't want to just redraw an existing character. Instead, I combined a famous doctor with an octopus. My first thought was Dr. House. Sketching took longer than usual, since I wanted to include so many attributes of the character. For Deadbeat, I went with one of the death alternatives, a vampire bit. Maybe because beetroot is red and its juice reminded me of blood. Then came Kaiju Creep. As a kid, I loved Godzilla movies, and Japanese monsters have always fascinated me, so this one was a blast. I mixed the two references with Raptor from Rugrats, and it turned out pretty good. The next day, I made a mistake and looked at what other people were drawing for this prompt, before starting my own illustration. There were so many good and funny versions that if I drew a bot head for my Batman, it would have felt like copying, so I changed the approach. I used Ace from the Powerpuff Girls as a reference, and gave him a butt cut, and a chin S. 2 years ago, Haunted Chicken was also a prompt. Back then, I even made an animation, and I really liked how it turned out. This year, it was much harder to come up with something new, and I especially struggled with choosing colors that would give it a ghostly look. For Gross Garfield, no offense to cat lovers, but there are many ways to make cat look gross. Honestly, just a cat licking itself is gross enough. Yucky Ducky ended up looking a lot like Daffy Duck doing street vandalism. Looking back, I don't really enjoy my illustrations as much when I base them too closely on existing cartoon characters. The next one, Poison. For me, social media is both a useful tool and sometimes real poison. In this illustration, I focused on the darker side, showing how it can be so addictive that even death wouldn't stop you from scrolling. Slugpuck. I had pretty low expectation for this one. But when I started drawing the head, I thought one isn't enough. So I flipped it and added a second one. That instantly made it feel more Halloweeny and creepy. Then I added some lake plants, fog, and the moon, and the whole thing just came together. Funny enough, I think that this was actually the quickest illustration I made during the whole challenge. Nightmare. Not my best work. The perspective's off, the composition is a bit messy, but I still love the core idea. A girl protected by her little guard bear. When I saw the prompt why Mogwai, I realized I didn't even know this character. I ended up drawing a cozy pile of autumn leaves with a happy little creature tucked inside. Cute, right? By the time I got to a better skull, I'd been practicing daily for 2 weeks. I think my skater skull turned out much better than the day one skull. Lol, I don't know. Sometimes complete freedom can feel like a trap. Too many options and I get stuck. But while scrolling through Pinterest, I found an idea of replacing teeth with lettering. I've also wanted to draw the creature from the Black Lagoon. So I combined the two. And it turned out pretty good. Crab Baboon. This was such an interesting and unexpected mashup. I leaned more toward crab features but added baboon hair, a face, and of course the prominent butt. It actually reminds me of Hey Arnold now. For local legend, I'd been thinking about it since the beginning of the challenge. I live in a small town where not much happens now. But in the past, for example, Sigmund Freud's father, Jakob, was born and raised here. So I illustrated him as a dusty old portrait on the wall. With that pixel, I drew inspiration from Tamagotchis. I never had one as a kid, but when I told Solomia, she gifted me one and immediately regretted it. Yeah, so I drew a Tamagotchi with oversized pixel, and one of them was that. Ice cream. I flipped the idea and twisted it. In my illustration, I let the ice cream have fun and eat some tasty ice. Definitely the kind of thing that only works in a Halloween drawing challenge. The bad guy. It might not be obvious from the illustration, but my idea was to draw a devil bully, one who hunts down real-life bullies to teach them a few life lessons. The spell prompt I did live on stream, which made it a team project. It was such a joyful experience brainstorming ideas together. Huge thanks to Sola for organizing it. I'll definitely do more live streams, so feel free to come and hang out. Spots. By day 24, idea generation starts feeling more like everyday work. For this one, I chose a salamander as the main character, a rare creature from the Carpathian Mountains that naturally has a lot of spots. A snake. I already drew a snake for Stinktober 2023, but back then I had another idea I didn't get to use. An anaconda that swallowed something huge, where you can easily guess what it is, just by the shape inside. Prickle and Goo. I hadn't seen the show before, but the characters seemed charming. I imagined them meeting at the bar, talking about life, after all those years on screen. Haha, sick. Right away, I thought of Psychos. And then I remembered that wild episode of Rocko's Modern Life, where he goes in for surgery and everything gets super weird. That totally shaped this piece. To make the psycho even creepier, I added 2 8 guys dragging him down the hallway. Dead and loving it. I didn't expect much from this one at first. I ran through a few creature ideas, but vampires just seemed like they were having the most fun after death. What we do in the shadows definitely helped shape that idea. So I drew a vampire with his adorable little minions. But pumpkins. My pumpkin's rocking some extraordinary pants, with a special hole that reveals his butt. But don't worry, I added a leaf from the censorship tree to keep things appropriate. Halloweener dog. There was this trend of dressing up dogs as ghosts. Sure, they looked happy, but let's be real, no one asked if they actually wanted that. I'm pretty sure some of them were just rolling their eyes and waiting for it to be over. Award. The last day. People usually celebrate with a drink, but I'm not really an alcohol kind of guy. So I decided that once I finished, I'd reward myself with a can of Dr. Pepper. And that's exactly what my illustration is about. You know, it could probably work for Poison Prom too, considering the amount of sugar in this drink. It was really nice sharing my thoughts with you. For Crispy Essex competition, I'm submitting 10 illustrations that I choose based on my personal favorites and the likes they got on Instagram. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite illustration. See you in the next video.